Hi, welcome to my video on function notation with the absolute value function. Function notation. Y equals A outside the absolute value of x minus h plus k. Then the function notation, notice y is equal to the f of x. So the y is the f of x equals a, absolute value of x minus h plus k. So replacing the y with the f of x puts it in function notation. So we have equation y equals 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1 plus 3. So the function notation f of x equals 2 absolute value of x minus 1 plus 3. So that's the function notation, y f of x. Let's look at finding a value of y. When we're find y if x equals 4. So in this equation, y equals 2, x is 4, so it's 4 minus 1 plus 3. And we have to do inside the absolute value first, which is 3. The absolute value of 3 is 3. Number is supposed to be positive. So that's 6 plus 3 equals 9. Now, if we have the function notation when x is 4, that means we're looking at the f of 4. So that means the f of 4, we're putting 4 in the place of x in the function notation. So they're very, very similar, and that what I'm working out here now is the same as what I did here. So the absolute value of 3 is 3. 6 plus 3 makes 9. So note the f of x, the x is 4. So we're putting 4 in the place of x. So that's the same as what we're doing here. So I did the parallel on these two equations, and one is in the function notation. Let's do some examples. If the f of x equals negative 3 times the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 1, find the f of negative 6. So the f of negative 6 means that x is negative 6. So we sub negative 6 in the equation for x is equal to negative 6, negative 6. Work out the inside the absolute value, which is negative 4. We have to do the absolute value of negative 4, which is 4. Negative 12 minus 1 is negative 13. And practice means pause the video and see if you can work out the correct answer to this one. The g of x is equal to a half absolute value of x minus 5 plus 3. Find the g of 11. So the g of 11 means that x is 11. So we sub 11 into the place of x and work it out. Inside the absolute value first is the 6. The absolute value of 6 is 6. A half of 6 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that's working out the function notation, the f of x. Now we have another example, but it's a little bit different in the function notation. If the f of x equals the absolute value of x minus x plus 2, and the f of x equals 6, find the values of x. So notice f of x and f of x. So since that means that the absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to 6 by the transitive property. Both of these expressions are equal to the f of x, therefore they're equal to each other. So that means the negative of x plus 2 equals 6, or the positive of x plus 2 equals 6. Negative x minus 2, remember you're multiplying by negative 1. Negative x equals 6 plus 2, negative x equals 8. Divide by negative 1, x equals negative 8. And plus doesn't change the binomial. 6 minus 2 is 4. So that's the values of x. Negative 8 and 4 are the two solutions when the, so if you did, let's check, the f of x is 4. So the f of 4 gives you 6. So the f of 4 here, and 4 plus 2 is 6. The absolute value of 6 is 6. So it's true. If you put negative 8 in, the absolute value, the f of negative 8 is 6. So we put the f of negative 8 here. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6. So these are the two solutions that will make these true. Practice means pause the video and work these out. The h of x equals 2 times the absolute value of x minus 3. The h of x equals 10. Therefore, 2 times the absolute value of x minus 3 is equal to 10, because they're both equal to the h of x. We divide by 2, so that means that the absolute value of x minus 3 is equal to 5. So the negative of x minus 3 equals 5, or the positive of x minus 3 equals 5. Negative x plus 3 equals 5. Negative x equals 5 minus 3. Negative x equals 2. Divide by negative 1. And x equals negative 2. And the positive doesn't change it. You just get an x minus 3. 5 plus 3. X is 8. So negative 2 and 8 will make these true. And number 2 here, the p of x equals x plus 4. The v of x equals negative 2 times the absolute value of x. Notice I have two different functions, and this is a good way to do. This is why we do function notation, because when you use y all the time, you don't know y equals an equation. But when you use the function notation, p of x is this one, the v of x is this one. So we're going to do the p of negative 6. So that means we're plugging negative 6 in here. So it's the absolute value of negative 6 plus 4. Add on the v of 3. So the v of 3 is going in here. So that's negative 2, absolute value 3. So the negative 6 is going in this expression, and the 3 is going into this expression. When we have that done, that's a negative 2 absolute value, because we got to simplify the inside first. Absolute value of negative 2 is 2. And we have the absolute value of 3 is 3. We got to multiply first before we subtract. 2 subtract 6, negative 4. Be careful. Obey the order of operations. So I had to do the absolute value first, because that's like working on the inside of the brackets. And b, again, hopefully you pause your video and everything's working out okay. That's 5 p of x, so that's 5 times the absolute value of x plus 4, and minus 4 times negative 2 absolute value of x. So 5 times that, we can't change anything, and that's 8 absolute value of x. That's all we can do. So you might think you're going to work this out further, but you can't, because we don't have any values. Now if I had a 2 right here, and I had a 3 here, then I could put the 2 in and work it through further, but I can't do any more with that. Okay, there we go. And the function notation in graphing. So this is the f of x, but normally we would have a y here, but we don't now, because the y is the f of x. So we can do I'm going to do it a couple of ways. This is the f of x, same as the y. So the vertex, let's go down here. The vertex is opposite of plus 2 is a minus 2, 4. Vertex is negative 2, 4. And based on that, I can draw a table of values. And since Sx, this is the f of x. So if you put the vertex in the middle, which is negative 2, 4, then we can go negative 2 is right here. So I can go negative 1 and 0. And I can go on the other side, negative 3, negative 4. So I can plug these values into the equation and come up with the f of x. So x is 0, so the f of 0, put a 0 in. 0 in here gives me a 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And that means this is a negative 2, because we know it's symmetrical. Whatever you get for 0, you get for negative 4. Is 2 units to the right and left of the negative 2. Let's sub in negative 1 for x. So the f of negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. And that's a 1. Now we can graph this table of values. So that we have, let's put the vertex in first. X is negative 2, y is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. And x is negative 1, y is 1. X is negative 1, y is 1. X is 0 and negative 2. 0, x is 0 and negative 2. X is negative 3, y is 1. X is negative 3, y is 1. X is negative 4, y is negative 2. X is negative 4, y is negative 2. Right here. So I use a ruler and draw, remember the absolute value. This is a linear. X plus 2 is a degree, 1 is a linear. So the absolute value graph here is going to be a V shape. And there it is, part of it. This the left side, and this is the right side. Notice the vertex is negative 2, 4. Also notice this is negative, so it's going down, which is verified by the table of values. And another way is that if the vertex is negative 2, 4, then A is negative 3, which means it's going to open downward, but the slope is the A, and the slope is negative 3 over 1, or negative 3. So that means if you start here and go down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Because it's symmetrical, you can go down 3 and left 1. Here we are. Now go down 3 more. 1, 2, 3, right 1. Or you can go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and move from this point now. 1, 2, 3, left 1. Right here you go down 3 and you go right 1. Because this is a positive slope because it's going up to the right. This is a negative slope. You can either say it's going up to the left or it's going down to the right. So if you go up to the right is positive. If you go down to the right is negative. So this is a positive slope, negative slope, absolute value. And your domain is always for the linear absolute value. X belongs to the reals. The range is the y value, and it's a negative. We know it's going down, so it's less than, equal to the y value of the vertex. The y value of the vertex is 4. So it's all the y's. Notice all the y's are going to be less than 4. The axis of symmetry is, there it is. The axis of symmetry splits the graph into 2 parts, and the axis of symmetry comes down through at negative 2, So the x of symmetry is x equals -2. It's a vertical line, and the vertical line is x equals. All the values of x are 2 on this line, so that's why it's x equals 2. Is the vertex a maximum or minimum point? Well, this is the highest point in your graph, so it's a maximum. So it has a maximum value of y equals 4. Remember, the maximum or minimum value is the y value, and the maximum value is 4. And the y-intercepts, well, we don't have the y-intercepts. Well, we got to work them out. So we go, the y-intercepts is when we make x equal 0. So if we make x equals 0, so the f of 0 equals -0 plus 2, and -3, 2 plus 4. The absolute value of 2 is 2. -6 plus 4 is -2. So the y-intercept, x is 0. Y is -2, which is true. X is 0. Y is -2. Now I could have got that from right here in the table of values also. But if you didn't graph it and you wanted to work out the y-intercept, you would sub in x equals 0 and work it out. But I could have looked here and got it, or I could have worked it out and got it. And the x-intercepts is when you make the f of x. So you make the f of x equals 0. So you have 0 equals -3 x plus 2 plus 4. Move this expression over to make it positive. Divide by 3. Oh, I better put the absolute value in there. Now I got to do the negative of that. 4/3. Or I got to do the positive of it. -x minus 2 equals 4/3. -x equals 4/3 plus 2. -x equals. And that's 4/3 plus, that's an x there. And 3 is 6/3. So we have -x equals 10/3. So x is equal to -10/3. That's one x-intercept, negative right there now. So that one right there, x is -10/3, y is 0. And the other one, x plus 2 equals 4/3. X equals 4/3 minus 2. X equals 4/3 minus 6/3. X is -2/3. So this one right here, x is -2/3, y is 0. So we found the x-intercepts. And the x-intercepts are, you could say, -10/3 and a -2/3. So a little bit different question, summing up how to work out the x-intercepts, summing up function notation, etc., etc. And if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and visit my math website at www.mathfullyexplained.com to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.